and Planning Organization. Roll call. Present. Thank you. Do we have any public comments?
No, sir, none.
All right. Item 4, consent agenda. Item 1, approval of minutes for the February 23rd, 2022 meeting. Any changes or corrections? A motion to approve by Commissioner. Second? Second by Mayor Samarino. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 2, discussion and action to approve Resolution 2022-07 for federal functional classification of Russell Road.
Yes, sir. Up on the screen, we have actually an amendment to a resolution that was actually already passed, which was 2022-05. So the only thing that's changing here is that before it said from FM 2220. Actually, no, I got them mixed up. Sorry about that. No, this is a new one. Sorry, this is Russell Road. This one is actually asking for new functional classification. And this is from FM 2220 Ware Road to Ruth Road. And it's a length of 1 mile. And this one is asking to be an urban minor collector, which is the smallest functional classification that's qualified for federal funding. So we're asking for approval to get this sent over to federal highways.
From our precinct 40.
A motion to approve by the Commissioner.
Second.
Second by County Judge. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 3, discussion and action to approve the Federal Functional Classification Resolution 2022-08, amendment of East Loop CSJ.
Okay, this is the one that is the amendment. So this one is the one that was previously on another resolution, but the limits changed. So instead of State Highway 4, before it was to Southport Connector. So we went ahead and made that modification so that way we hand everything over consistently across all of our MTP and TIP documents. But that's the only thing that changed was the 2 limit to State Highway 4 opposed to Southport Connector, asking for approval.
A motion by the Hidalgo County RMA, second by the City of Brownsville. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Item 4, discussion and action on 2021 annual project listing, APL, for both highway and bicycle and pedestrian projects.
Okay, I'll take that one as well. This is actually a listing of all the projects that were led and obligated for the year of 2021. Staff actually did a thorough review of the initial list provided by TXDOT-TPMP. And this is one of the examples of the way the projects were showcased within our document. So we have the original project at the very top, and the notes at the bottom are all the findings based on what the RGVMPO staff found as far as things that needed to be addressed that were not really matching up with the initial project listing. So we're asking for approval as well on this to continue on as a submittal to TXDOT-TPMP. If there are any questions on it, I could take it this time as well.
Any questions? If not, recommendations to approve. Motion by Commissioner. Need a second? Second by Mr. Parker. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 5, discussion and action on fiscal year 2022 spring CMP. And I want to thank you, Andrew, for giving all the definitions of the acronyms on some of these items. We appreciate it very much.
Yes, sir. When I was writing it, I thought that might be necessary. Yes, sir. This is our biannual congestion study that we are required to perform. We came to the board with the wishes to move forward with that. The board approved that. We went out for an RFP through the procurement process with the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council and sent out that RFP. We only received one reply to that. I think most of that is for the purpose that Coal Plan has probably been working on our congestion study for about 20 years. And I think most of the people out in the market know that they have a real good understanding of the area and what's going on in the way of our transportation and congestion needs. So we presented this to the advisory committee. We did the cost analysis. Everything was proper and followed through. We submitted it over to the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council for review. Everything came back accurate, and we are asking the policy board for approval to execute the contract, which would begin March 31st, conclude December 30th, 2022. And I apologize, I'm trying to find the dollar amount on here for this case at the moment. The board had already previously approved the budget, but what's that? Yes, $195,030. Not to exceed that amount unless we should need a change order or anything in the future. So it was unanimously passed at advisory committee, and we're asking policy board for approval.
This was under item 5, right? The 195?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For some reason, I didn't see that okay, I'll look for it. Motion to approve by City of Brownsville. Second by Commissioner Hidalgo. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6, discussion and action on staff attending the annual AMPO Planning Tools and Training Symposium Conference. Andrew.
Yes, sir. As required by TxDOT, we have to come to the policy board requesting approval for staff to travel out of state. I'm seeking to have, I believe it's 4 total employees go to the AMPO, which is the National Association of MPOs planning conference that's taking place in Fort Lauderdale. Unfortunately, from the time we originally, as I guess everybody can imagine, airfare went up $200. So I had to amend that. It was 5 and change. Now it's 763 in the last month. So if the board should approve, I'll be getting this over to TxDOT so they can hopefully approve quickly so we can avoid any further hikes.
Who are you taking with you?
Ava, Javier, Rudy, and Fernando, and Johnny.
You got left out or?
He went to DC.
Oh, okay.
We rotate.
Okay, all
He
right.
went to DC. He wanted to see the snow. I want to see the beach.
All right.
I didn't even know it was in Fort Lauderdale until I got
Sure,
there.
yeah.
Would I lie?
Any other further questions or concerns?
There was an emphasis on concern,
Yeah.
sir. I just want to point that out.
Motion approved by Mr. Parker, CCRMA. Second by Commissioner Fuentes. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
We'd like to.
Yeah, we want to make sure you attended.
Not a problem. It's all I do, sir. I live for it.
Item 7, discussion on update for the fiscal year 2023 to 2026 TIP tables and 2045 MTP Amendment Number 6.
Rudy will give
Rudy?
it.
Thank you, Chairman and Policy Board members for attending today. So in addition to the summary sheet that was originally submitted for the link to the packet for today's meeting, we went ahead and added the tables that were shared during the workshop on March 17th. This is an attempt to display and share the amount of requests we received for construction engineering, preliminary engineering, and right-of-way requests of Category 7. So this is all additional money that's not currently programmed in the MTP or the TIP years. So in a breakdown, we have TIP fiscal years 23 to 26, and then remaining years of 27 to 30, and then a combined total. So the total amount of Cat 7 requests was over 200 million. We average about 28 million roughly per year in UTP allocations for Category 7. So based upon the 2022 UTP, we will be programming projects into the upcoming TIP years of 23 to 26. We will not see an increase in Category 7 allocation until the 2023 UTP. Thank you. So until we see that 2023 UTP approved in August, we really can't allocate any additional money at this time. However, in looking at the summary sheet, Miguel, are you able to can you control the slides for me? If we can go 2 forward. Here we have a grand total per fiscal year had we honored all of the requests that came in during this project update submittal. And as you can see, going back to what I mentioned, according to the 2022 UTP, how over-programmed we would be per fiscal year. This is the Brownsville area and Hidalgo area. If you combine the numbers and relative to the average of 28 million for every fiscal year for category 7, you'd see that it's quite a large request. So we do have a high demand for both improvements to projects and for new projects in the area. So we'll continue working with our local governments as we proceed past this initial creation of the 23-26 TIP and amendment to the MTP, and look towards the approval of the 2023 UTP once we get there and see how much more additional category 7 is available at that time. If we could proceed to the next slide, Miguel. This is the timetable that we're looking at for completion of the 23-26 TIP. And in there, you will see in mention that we need to utilize the 2022 UTP. So we have a submittal date set for June the 10th, and that is to submit all documentation, our comprehensive TIP, which will include both highway and transit TIP tables, to the eTIP portal. So we're looking at going to a 30-day public involvement during the month of April. We're looking at maybe mid-April to begin and run that into the month of May. So during that time period, we'll still be working on the draft of both highway and transit TIP tables. They will be approved during the month of May by both TAC and policy. If we can proceed to the next couple of slides, this is a breakdown of the project revisions, administrative changes, any updates that were received during this past submittals. And towards the end of the summary sheet, we have numbers highlighted, and those are the additional requests that were depicted in the previous tables. So at this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions about any project submittals that were sent in, or anything in relative to the timetable that we have for creation of this new TIP, or any other concerns.
There are a couple, oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
I have one question.
This is more so federal funding that's allocated to off-system projects. Miguel, if you could, to the last slide where there's a table that shows this one, thank you. This is a list of UTP allocations for 2022 and then proposed allocations for 2023. We also have a breakdown of the delta, the difference between the two UTP years, and also the percentages for our areas here within our planning area. So, Andrew, if you would like to elaborate on this a little bit, maybe he could explain this in detail for you.
Thank you, Rudy.
Yes, sir.
Judge, this is extremely important. So I'll back up a little bit and then come to this. I just want to say we received about $203 million in requests for new or advancing projects. We're still working on the 22 UTP, that 10-year horizon budget, if you will. There's no new funding identified in there. So we're not really able to honor. We do want to keep working with everyone and see if there's opportunities to swap projects around. Now, the 23 UTP, which is the next 10 years, will hopefully be approved by the TxDOT Commission in August. What you have on your screen, Judge, and I wish actually Mayor Boswell was here since he was part of the authoring of it. But back when we did the merger in our bylaws, we have that paragraph in there about any new Category 7 funds would be distributed based upon Category 2 formula for distribution to the areas. And the purpose of that was to bring the Harlingen San Benito area to the fold with funding. So what we wanted to show the board is on year 23, you can see that the delta from what we normally get to the new money is about 3.9 million. There's a slight increase every year. So if we break everything out on that percentage, it's only about $600,000, $700,000 annually to the Harlingen San Benito area. It's very difficult to try to move projects forward when you only have that. Now, the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, sir, is on year 32. All of that is new money. It's not the delta. It's all new money. It's come in since the inception of the RGVMPO. So out of that, it's about, what is that, Rudy, 5 million? I'm getting old. 5.1 million to the Harlingen San Benito area. Collectively, it's about 6 million. I guess what I'm asking is the will of the board that we distribute this on an annual basis, or is it good if we were to maintain Harlingen and everyone else whole, if we were able to work with Harlingen and bankroll, if that was their desire, 5 or 6 years of that money and come up with 4 million, 5 million, and then we just backfill on a project later to the other areas, but then it would give them an opportunity because we can't do very much with $700,000.
Gabe, you have any thoughts on that? First of all, before you, maybe it's just me, and I must be older than you, but do you guys look at these slides before you put them up?
Yes.
Because I can't see, you know what?
Our screens are much closer than
Yeah,
that.
clearly. So keep that in mind, I think, just
on
for
your
future
computer,
effort. Yeah, I know, but you know how easy it
Yes,
is
sir.
to get to the
Okay.
stuff on this.
Yes, sir.
So, anyway, go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. I think, given the comments that I said last time, I think that people will not, I think that as long as we keep that on our phone, that we get that, we have to use a couple of shots, we get it up, we have to use it.
Is that basically, we heard Pete
Yes.
talk about, obviously, the,
Because what we would do, Judge, and it's exactly what Gabe is saying, and we do it all the time with other projects, and I know Rex is here and can probably speak on it better than I. But we would just simply take projects that are available in the Hidalgo and Cameron County that are ready to go now. We would move those out with that money. And we know when we back up, whatever number of years we need, once a project is identified, we'd be able to make that whole in 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it is, to get that project out the door for our Harlingen San Benito area.
I think we need to remain consistent, that our MO is if it's shovel ready, get it done. But mindful of these particular needs and obligations to make sure that when that Harlingen San Benito project is ready and good to go, we try to make it whole.
Well, the
Rick, you
most
want to add anything
important,
else on that? And maybe add a little 10% every year just in case?
well, and for us, the most important thing, honestly, Judge, is on the planning side, is that it would allow us to have the opportunity to actually have something in the UTP years funded with Category 7 for Harlingen, San Benito area. Once they're at that point, they're ready to go, then they can do AFAs with TxDOT, and we would really, for the first time, be able to start moving the project forward and getting it going with some local funds that is strictly from the benefit of the merger for Harlingen, San Benito area. So, but Rex, if you
Just to echo Judge's comment, this is ready so that the projects are right to the top, all general range of what we're managing. We want to focus keep projects ready and then have that opportunity. But So that's, these 10 years, they're still nice, it looks nicer in the first 4 years, because then that's somewhat secured funding to go to construction. Once that is in that arena, then it kind of rises to the top. So focus on those first 4 years, it kind of gets stingy ready to let them fly. The 10-year capture window, once you get close to the first 4 years, then you are in a better position to that rate plan.
yeah, because and you're right, because I do want to say I only discussed the reverse, but Gabe, there's always the opportunity that we, with the numbers we see on the board, $6 million, if there's an opportunity for us to work with you, Harlingen, San Benito area gets a project ready to go, and in the next, 5 years, you're ready to spend all 6 million, we would be able to do that, and then we would just backfill that money to other projects, but that money is identified for that subregion. I understand, and Rudy does a fantastic job of keeping a tally on all of that. So we will monitor that all the way to make sure that you're kept whole.
Any other, go ahead, Mayor. You got to click your shoes at the same time.
But so
just a suggestion, maybe is there a possibility of keeping the commissioners in here?
Yes, sir.
I mean, so that's the way.
The UTP is updated every year. As soon as we, I say we, it's more TxDOT, but as soon as we get this adopted in August and start working on our revisions for a November submittal, they'll turn around and start working immediately on a 24.
Yes. I think that's a way to.
Yes. Yes, sir.
I think the best way to describe it is that these are the parameters and the expectations, but literally on a daily basis, we're reviewing and adjusting. And I'm not sure which different acronyms we keep addressing, UTP, you know, but that's in essence what we're doing. And you know more than I do, Mayor, trust me. Any other questions or comments for Rudy? All right, thank you, Rudy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy.
Item 8, discussion on updates from the Federal Highway Administration for the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, BIL, overview of highway transit, and others.
It's Javier.
Javier, thank you.
Good afternoon, policy board members. I'm here to talk to you today about the infrastructure bill that was recently passed, highlight some opportunities, and dive deeper into 4 of the grants that have already started accepting submissions this year. As many of you know, this is a lot of information, and some of you here today might remember a previous presentation that I made at a TAC meeting that kind of went on and on and on. But that being said, this is a lot of information. I tried to condense this down a little bit, if even further, for you guys here today, in honor of your time as well. But I also want to let you know that this information is available. We've been collecting information as it comes out, and we will continue to collect information as more grant opportunities become available. Here you start seeing some of the key terms that you will see if you open up the documents yourself one day, or once we hand it over to you. And see, these are some of the terms and acronyms that you might see. I know that's our favorite topic right now. But the majority of the funds for this infrastructure bill is coming from contract authority. And in this case, I'm not sure if it's every single case, but contract authority is a form of budget authority that permits obligations to be made in advance of appropriations. And in this case, that money is coming from the Highway Trust Fund. The big difference about this infrastructure bill is the increase of number of both discretionary grants and formula grants. The difference being that discretionary grants are awarded using a competitive application process, and formula grants are money that's distributed across the state, or MPOs, or the federal government, using formulas determined both by Congress, TxDOT Commission, and has no application process. Whoever is eligible will get some of that money. But that's a key word, eligibility. Although some of this formula grants that I'll be highlighting later, we might not be eligible ourselves as an MPO, but local governments, the state, or federally recognized tribes is another one. They will be eligible to apply for some of those grant opportunities. Next slide, please. So here are some of the high points, federal dollar money, and as well as statewide here at the state of Texas. Now keep in mind that these amounts are they encompass fiscal year 22 to 26. So in total, there's the majority of that, $303.5 billion, is coming from contract authority from the Highway Trust Fund that I previously mentioned, and about $47.3 billion is coming in advance appropriations from the general fund. There's going to be more than a dozen new highway programs, including both formula and discretionary. One of the big differences is that you'll see bridges both in formula and discretionary. The formula bridge program is eligible only for states and federally recognized tribes, but for discretionary programs, MPOs and local governments and other entities or agencies are also eligible to apply for those. At the Texas state level, Texas is expected to receive approximately $27.4 billion over these next 5 years in federal highway formula for highways and bridges. On an average annual basis, that's about a 26.4% increase over those 5 years versus the current law or previous law prior to this infrastructure bill. Texas can also compete for the $12.5 billion in the bridge investment program. Part of the requirements for the bridge investment program, or things that they're looking for, is whether bridges that are on the National Bridge Inventory are being addressed. This is a very great tool that Federal Highway Administration, in partnership, I'm guessing, with the Department of Transportation, keeps a good tally on. They did a survey back in 2020, and they've identified 769 bridges in the state of Texas that are in poor condition. And out of those, there's a total of 11 that's within our metropolitan area boundary map.
Where are those at?
They're across Cameron and Hidalgo County. The one thing to keep in mind is that in order for these bridges to get money, they have to be functionally classified, and only 2 of the 11 are functionally classified. One's in San Benito and one's in Brownsville. This is a great tool, and I'm more than happy to share the link with anybody so you can get the information for those bridges. Some of these bridges were built back in 1945, and the latest one that's on this list was built in 1988.
I'm sorry, repeat that?
Some of these bridges were built back in 1945, but the latest one that's on this list was built in 1988.
Cool.
Yes, sir. I don't know how far back to go back. Sorry. But here you see a great detailed breakdown of which eligible entities are eligible for which programs. As you see here, the second line is a bridge formula program. There, you see the state and federally recognized tribe are eligible entities. The Protect grants is something that's near and dear to my heart. That's the resiliency program that I've mentioned before in the past. As an MPO, we are also eligible to apply for some of that grant funding. Also with RAISE as well. Down there, you see the Bridge Investment Program. That's something that the MPO that I was talking to you about, it's a discretionary program. That Reconnecting Communities pilot program, that's one of the examples that they shared with us was like the Clyde Warren Park in Dallas, where they reconnected the 2 sections of downtown and uptown by building that overpass park. So they really emphasize trying to find projects like that where you can connect communities that were separated by roads or highways. And then the National Infrastructure Project Assistance, those are 2 that I'm going to be highlighting later on. Next slide, please. Here you can see there's 8 programs under contract authority, including 2 new ones. The orange ones are existing programs that existed before or prior to this infrastructure bill. The yellow ones are all transportation alternative programs, like Willway Highway Crossing programs, as well as transportation alternatives, TASA. And then there's 2 new programs, the carbon reduction and the Protect, which is formula. These numbers are in billions over the course fiscal year 22 through 26. Next slide. Some of the other programs, the competitive and formula that they cover these topics of safety, transit. There's several under climate and resiliency, bridges, equity, RAISE. The MPDG is the multimodal program discretionary grant program that encompasses 3 applications fusing together with 1. There's a planning and project delivery program, as well as port infrastructure. So the RAISE grant, which is also known as Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity. Although the deadline is April 14th, something I do want to stress with everybody is that both this opportunity as well as the MPDG that I'm going to be going over next is an annual application process. Although some of us or everyone here might not be ready to submit the 25-page minimum or maximum document application for this year, there will be ample opportunities over the next couple of years, and we're more than happy to work with everybody here to get an application ready for fiscal year 23. The award minimum is $5 million in urban areas. The great thing about both of these programs I'm going to talk to you today is that they also apply to planning grants. However, there's no minimum award amount for planning grants. Therefore, planning grants will not be eligible to compete for the full amount of funding available for each fiscal year. That maximum or that full amount available is $25 million, and it cannot exceed that amount. Another thing that I wanted to highlight about all these programs today is that there are obligation deadlines. For example, if you apply this year in 22 for an opportunity with RAISE, you have to obligate the funds by September 30th of 2026. And even in 2026, you have to expend the funds by 2031. So same date, September 30th, 2031. Some of the eligible entities for the RAISE grant are states, a local unit of government, a public authority with a transportation function, including a port authority and a transit agency. One thing we did follow up with Federal Highway Administration, and we asked that if a public authority with a transportation function includes an RMA, and they did follow up with this, and they told us that, yes, an RMA does qualify for that. And so we already shared that with both Cameron and Hidalgo County RMAs. Some of those eligible projects are highway bridges, public transportation projects, port infrastructure, passenger and freight rail transportation projects, intermodal, and certain airport projects as well. So there's a lot that it can encompass. It's a 78, 84-page document. It's a lot, but I just wanted to highlight some of the great opportunities about the RAISE grant. Yes, Commissioner.
So can these funds be combined with general PO awards?
To my understanding, the way that it works is if we've already gotten a project that's funded, you need a minimum in order to apply for a lot of these funds. And so you can use that money towards the minimum. So if you have a question of whether or not the project doesn't meet the minimum required amount. And also, this isn't like a large lump sum opportunity. This is reimbursable money. So if you've already spent a certain amount, or a certain amount's already been awarded, you could use that to meet that minimum so that you can apply. Because if the project doesn't cost that minimum amount, you can apply for this program. But
technically, sorry.
Yeah, no, okay.
I keep saying that this has to be extended by
2031 at the latest.
really should be like in people.
Well, yeah, but
I mean,
like,
realistically.
We're
yeah,
honestly looking at, Commissioner, we're honestly looking at projects, and I talked to some colleagues in San Antonio and Austin yesterday, and they're doing the same. We're looking for TIP. We're looking at TIP projects that are really that ready to go, or projects that are ready to move into the TIP. Maybe we have a gap, and this would provide opportunity for seeking these grant funds that would fill that gap to move it into the TIP and then be ready to select that project.
So then who can you talk to, or who's going to reach out to us?
that's me right here. So yeah, I've already been dispersing this information with partners. So like when we found out about the RMA, we did that research for them. I went ahead and I shared it with them with both of the RMAs. One of the things right now as well with the next opportunity, if you can go to the next slide, please. I know I said that there's 4 grant opportunities, but there's only 2 applications open right now that we know of. There might be more, but the MPDG grant opportunity application encompasses both a mega infrastructure bill, rural bill. To my knowledge, rural MPOs don't qualify, but like I said before, if there's an opportunity that a local government or someone that is qualified for rural wants to apply for, we'd be more than happy to help and work with you on that. That this is where we're one of the things under mega, since there is a 500. The minimum for the mega application is $100 million that a project has to cost, and the max, and then they have one pool. So sorry, I know it's a lot of information that I'm trying to spew out right now. They have billions of dollars for the mega opportunity, and 50% of that money is allocated for projects that cost between $100 million and $500 million, and then the other half of the pot of money is for projects that cost more than $500 million. So with that though, there's also a network of group of projects where you can group projects together so you can meet that minimum. And you also have to ensure that they meet the same goal at the end for you to network or group them together. Yeah, I know you have another question, sorry.
Last question.
Yes.
Since some of our projects are already advancing as far as design and environmental and all the preliminary type costs that we do, is any of that reimbursable? Like you can retro this application to prior expenses, or it's just moving forward?
It's just moving forward. It's not reimbursable, but you can use that towards your minimum to meet that requirement to apply for it. And another great thing is, like Shannon said, if there's a gap that you're looking to fill, there's different components that you can apply individually. So a certain component or a certain gap of a project that you're looking to fund for a region-wide project, and you've already worked on 1 out of the 3 or 2 out of 3, you need that last portion filled, you can apply for a specific portion, not for the whole thing. You can also apply for planning development phases for both the RACE and the MPDG as well. So that's another important thing. If there's something that you're trying to think out further out into the years and you're trying to get a feasibility study done, you can also get those funded with this program. So it's both planning development phase as well as construction phase for the projects.
We knew that the reimbursable was going to come, but we were careful.
Yeah, I guess if we could send this presentation to us, because I think a lot of us here would be really interested in pursuing some of these plans.
Yeah.
Projects that we already have conceptually and/or in design.
Yeah,
It would be really helpful to get.
I'd be more than happy to. And again, I'd be happy to work with anybody to get a very competitive application process, even for 23 for next year, that we can come a little stronger now that we have a little bit more time and know. But this year, if we can pull something together, the deadline for the MPDG application is May 23rd. So we still have some time. If anyone feels that they're ready already for something like that, we're more than happy to help them out. Any other questions? Yes, sir, Mayor.
I assume that the tax outcome be looking into that. That would be a state application to the feds for that to fill that gap that we do have on that existing act.
So I guess just in general, we don't have to, we have a target value, but then it's going to go to the various districts, allocation, fulfilling all of that. But they're, we're waiting for that.
Well, yeah, we're talking about this on the interstate.
So I just, maybe this as a resolution support or something that we can take a couple of meetings. We have.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, you know,
That's a great idea, Mayor. Thank you. Can we take care of that, Mayor? Andrew?
yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm sure that's something we would bring back because, I know Pete Alvarez, sent me some messages this morning saying he was, TxDOT was already working with our two RMAs on some of the grant, packages as well with some of the projects that we have. And I'm certain that we want to be doing some things, resolutions of supports and letters, so, in those, with those as well. So absolutely, I can't see why we would.
I understand the support region, but there are always local governments that can't afford to do these projects on their own. And getting engineering fees and does that, we also need to try to help them.
I think we ought to improve what we can. I don't even know.
I don't think it has to be an either or. I think we're both right.
We'll take that into consideration. Let's see if I coalition that strengthen numbers, say, if that has to be.
But if,
Premature, where numbers, but project ready.
I think this letter of support or resolution is enough. In effect, I think it's support for that.
this is not an action item, but I think, can we give the direction to Andrew and staff to go ahead and prepare those letters of support and resolutions on both of those, I-69 and 281? Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then following up on Commissioner's comment, and I asked, again, excuse my ignorance, but if we have any TIP projects that are ready that would potentially qualify, I know we've got some that are ready, either drawing or, so I don't see why. It may be tough to get it done before either the April or the May deadlines, but I would think we've got a few region-wise in the valley that should qualify. So I would hope that we'd get at least something on board as opposed to just saying, nah, we're not going to do it. Let's wait a year. Why? My concern is we all know that there's going to be a lot of asks nationally for this money.
Mhm.
So if we don't get our finger in the cookie jar, we sure as heck aren't going to get anything back. So if we can get it done, whether it's on ends of the valley, I think the MPO needs to help with both all of the entities, both the counties and the cities, if there are projects, and I'm sure there are. Yeah.
Sounds good. And there's another thing, just a couple more things. There are webinars that are already being had with both FHWA and the Department of Transportation. I just did one with for how to apply for the MPDG. There's also going to be a how to draft your benefit cost analysis for the portion of the application coming up as well, so we can share those dates as we get them with you. Another thing, the last thing I wanted to mention about the MPDG application is that, or any of these grants, to my knowledge, is that there's a limit to for these three programs. Any entity has a limit of 3 times applying for each one. So technically, since there's 3, there's a limit of 9 per fiscal year. I'm not saying that we're going to have everything ready, but that's just something to keep in mind as well. But that also means to counter that, any entity can be limitless number of times as a partnering agency on an application. Were you gonna ask something, Judge? Sorry.
You said 3 times.
Per program. So within the MPDG, there's 3 individual programs, the mega, the infra, and the rural.
Right.
So it's one application, and unless you put on the application that you're opting out for one of the opportunities, they're going to consider your application for all three.
Oh, I got you.
Automatically, yes. So you have to opt out manually for the program.
If you don't opt out, then you're limited to 3 for the, okay, I got you.
Yeah, 3 per each one, and there's 3, so there's 9.
Okay.
The MPO doesn't qualify for rural, but that would mean that there were 6 for us, but that doesn't mean we can't be a partnering agency on another application. There's a limitless amount of applications that we can be a partnering agency on there, so just something I wanted to make clear was that opting out, that you have to, otherwise they will count that against you, or they will count that as one of your tries applications.
I will say that guidance from Federal Highways on some of this has been a little slow. I had a video chat with Federal Highways in Austin yesterday. There's a carbon reduction sub-allocation of funding that comes directly to the MPO. I was seeking guidance on that, and I was told, quote unquote, I don't know what that is, by my federal representative. Not throwing him under the bus, it's just I guess they haven't gotten the guidance down all the way, because I was looking to try to figure out what we could do with this money, and he had no guidance to provide to us yesterday afternoon when we were speaking. So some of the guidance is a little slow, but we're trying to get it as quickly as we can. I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just one more information data that I collected for this presentation that's not on the slide, but again, I can share that with anybody. One thing they emphasize as part of the bag of the infra is whether or not the project's going to entirely or partially cover areas of persistent poverty or historically disadvantaged communities. The state of Texas has 2,825 historically disadvantaged communities, and within our MAB boundary, there's 79. So I think that'll definitely help make us a little bit more competitive. So I just wanted to share that with you here today. And all that, there's portals for all this information, and I'm more than happy to share that with anybody. There's maps that that we can get you, so you can see where all the individual census tracts are for those historically disadvantaged communities across our MAB. That's including Stark County as well.
Any other questions? Javier? Thank you for your presentation, Javier.
Thank you. No, I have to.
He's not letting you go, Javier. Yeah.
Okay, sounds like fun. No hablo inglés. I'm just kidding.
All right. Item 5, RGVMPO Executive Director's Report and Updates. Mr. Cannon.
Wanted to mention that there is a transportation planning forum taking place. TxDOT, TTI is putting that on May 2nd to the 5th in Houston. The transportation planning forums are generally very beneficial, several breakout sessions. I would definitely recommend that anybody who could send staff or any of the elected officials who may have time to attend that as well. I think that would be very, very beneficial for all of us. It does help us on the acronyms. Try to get those down and understand maybe the planning process even more than what we have, and that goes on our side as well. The budget is on the screen for you. We've expended 14.51% of our budget over the first 6 months of the year. We're supposed to be at 20%, almost 21%. So as always, we're under budget, and I try to run it that way and keep it. So we will be coming back with some amendments to our budget next month. I've been asked by McAllen Transit and Brownsville Transit to partner with them on some funding for some extended transit plans that they're doing. We're more than glad to do that. We have the funding there available, so we want to assist them with those plans. And we're looking at maybe bringing someone on board to help us with our resiliency planning. That was something that Javi was and is heading up, and he came to me, and we just simply need some additional help with it. It's a very inundated, data inundated information, and it's a little confusing. So we may be seeking somebody to give us a hand with that, but we'll bring that back to the board to discuss. And then the other item I have, I know you wanted to discuss, Judge, was we are set for the policy board retreat that is set for Friday, June 3rd at the Cameron County Amphitheater. And I thank Cameron County for the use of the facility for free. So thank you, sir. It'll be at the event center on that Friday afternoon. We have gone through the process on procurement. I have not signed or executed anything yet until we had the discussion today. Bringing on a gentleman, Jason. He has done this before for the city of Brownsville, as well as a couple other cities, and he's a long-term city manager before, facilitating some of these conversations. And I know that within his contract, he has down some items like reaching out to some board members to find out expectations and outcomes, and just what are we looking for as we move forward. So that's what I have for the board retreat at this point. I know that we did have a sidebar conversation on who would be attending. And I guess that's some guidance I wanted from the policy board as far as, because my understanding was that it would be policy board members and your alternates if you were unable to attend, but keeping it away from the staff level. And with all due respect to my colleagues out there, the consultants as well, that this was more of an intimate setting because there was also some guidance items to be provided to me as well through this retreat as we move forward on what the vision and the expected outcomes for the NPOs.
Speaking for myself, I think that would be the way to go. Obviously, I think each of our entities, appointed members and alternates need to be there. Any staff that works with us with regards to working with the NPO. But as far as going staff-wide and bringing in, like you said, consultants and outside individuals or entities, I don't think would serve the purpose of the retreat. That's my thought. Unless somebody else has a different opinion. Okay. All right.
It will be an all-day affair. We'll come up with a kickoff time. I'll send it out to the policy board like we did with all the information. I don't want to arbitrarily make that decision. I will be sending off Federal Highways and TxDOT did approve the budget for this. So we'll have coffee in that for in the morning. And if it's okay with everyone, I'll probably find someplace on the island with a variety of food. We can narrow down that menu and then have something delivered so we can try to keep everyone together, have a little break, but that way we don't lose any participation so we can continue on with this. It's the first time in 18 years that I've been here. We've had this. I'm looking forward to it. I think nothing but positive can come out of it.
Yeah.
And I would hate to lose some of the participation, which can happen when you leave and you're on the island. So be honest, Mayor, I'm probably thinking like 9 a.m. to start, give everybody time to get there, not too early. And then to wrap up, I would leave open-ended to the progress that we make on the day. We have sent out invites, so
Yeah,
I ask you to please RSVP.
Need to make sure that all of the board members, and we are including the TAC members on the invite also,
I
right?
had not, sir, because I thought it was just at the policy board level.
Well, I think all of us have I think there would be more benefit to both the board and TAC if they were involved.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of our work gets done at the TAC level.
So I totally understand, man. Yes, sir. We can send those out. All I ask is please.
But we do need to the RSVP to give them the opportunity to plan accordingly. And I hate to use the word mandatory, but I think this is something that's obligatory on the part of all of us as board members. Plus, you get to spend a day or night or weekend out at the island, so that's not all that bad.
Confirm the location.
At the amphitheater, sir. It's
At Isla Blanca. Yeah. All right.
the judge will have a band performing afterwards, correct?
Maybe.
Let me see here. I apologize, Judge. I just wanted to make sure I covered that. No, sir, I don't have anything else unless there are any questions from
Did you
anyone.
mention the transportation forum?
Yes, sir, up in Houston.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you, Andrew.
sir.
Status report, TxDOT project status report.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Javier Lopez. I'm serving as a project manager for TxDOT out of the FAR area office. So I'll be presenting a couple projects in Hidalgo County. It's like the first project, it's FM 2221 or a 7-mile line. This one is located north of Mission and the Palm View area. The limits are from FM 492 to FM 681. The scope of the project itself is the rehabilitation of the existing roadway. We have Texas Cordia as the contractor for this project. They are about 70% complete, and the estimated completion date is September 2022. Yes, next slide. Okay, this is a picture of the actual the current conditions looking west. As you can tell, we have traffic on the south side, and the contractor just completed the first layer of asphalt on the north. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a different angle of the same location. So in addition of the asphalt work completed, the contractor also regraded the side ditches and also completed the concrete driveways. Thank you. The second project that I'm presenting is FM 3072 or Dicker Road in the city of FAR. The limits of these projects are from FM 2061 or Jackson Road to Veterans Boulevard. The scope is the rehabilitation of the existing roadway. We have Texas Cordia working on this one as a contractor. The project is about 4% complete. The estimated completion date is February 2023. Next slide. This picture is actually looking west. We are on phase one of this project. When this picture was taken, the contractor was working the flex base on the south side. Yes, next slide. And this picture also looking west. In addition to the flex base being worked by the contractor, they also completed the proposed sidewalk and the proposed curb and gutter. Now I'm passing the presentation to a couple projects in Cameron County.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rene Davila, project manager at TechSat. Today I'm going to be presenting two projects from Cameron County. The first one, FM 1732. The scope of this work is to rehabilitate the road from US 281 to I-69E. The contractor for this project is Foremost Paving. It's currently at 65% complete, and the estimation completion date is October 2022. The contractor was working on proposed under seal from New Carmen Avenue to Lago Vista. Next slide. Yeah. This is a picture of the completed proposed under seal from Carmen Avenue to Lago Vista. As of today, the contractor has now completed this section of roadway all the way to the asphalt pavement and is now working from Lago Vista to I-69E. Next slide, please. The next project is FM 802. The scope of this project is to construct medians winding in the roadway and overlay. The limits of this project are from FM 1847 to Old Port Isabel. The contractor for this project is Texas Cordia. This project is currently at 90% complete, and the estimation completion date is July of 2022. The contractor has now completed the raised medians and is now working on proposed landscaping. Next slide. And they also continue to work on proposed concrete driveways and concrete sidewalks throughout the project limits. With this, we conclude our presentations. Do you all have any questions?
Any questions for either one of them? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm pleased to say that Cameron County RMA's presentation today will be extremely brief. Mr. Sepulveda can't be with us today, so we appreciate that. Hidalgo County RMA.
Are you in control? I'm in control. You okay?
Yes, we are in control.
Real quickly, my name is Ramon Navarro. I'm the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority's construction engineer, and I'm also the project manager of the 365 toll project. Real quickly, we do have a new representative on for District 2, which I don't think this does not reflect off the for District 2, and that is Director Carlos de Angel. He replaces Mr. Moxley on the board. Next slide, please. Two more. Let's go to 365. There you go. All right. So we have let the 365 toll project. Next slide, please. Next slide. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. This wasn't the updated presentation. All right.
You are not in control.
I am not in control. No, sir. Obviously not. Okay. Regardless, on 365, we did issue notice to proceed to the contractor. Work commenced on March 17th. We are 14 days into the contract. And as of now, we've had 2 change orders.
One a week?
Approximately.
I was gonna
The first one was actually prior to notice to proceed. We were directed to bring the project back down to make it financeable. And we did reduce it by $38 million. Of course, the net difference in the total fund is not $38 million due to the BECP requirements. We split the net profits 60-40. So that brought that down to the new original contract, or the new contract price is for 281. There we go. $281,723,797.95. We are currently working on value engineering change proposal 3, which we anticipate to bring some more cost savings to the project and diligently work towards getting this in the field and built and vertically inclined to the traffic. This is a 1,264-day calendar day project, so we anticipate concluding the project November 21st of 2025. And there is $16,500 liquidated damages per day. We are working diligently at relocating utilities and finalizing the collaboration on the compensability of those. That deadline, we're seeking June 9th. And with that being said, we'll go on to the next slide on IBTC. IBTC is a 13.1-mile project that we are pursuing, and we have brought, in collaboration with our partnering agencies, TxDOT, the RGVMPO, various other agencies, FHWA. We are looking to bring this project online. As they mentioned, we are looking towards a mega project or a mega funding on this one, pursuing that. And next slide. We recently concluded our public hearing for acceptance of our environmental justices on March 17th. That went very well. We got very few questions and inquiries. Of course, we have been working the project for approximately 14 years. 4 years. 14 on.
It just feels like 14.
14 on 365. It was 14 on 365 and 4 on IBTC. But that pretty much. Next slide. Next slide. I'm trying to see which, go all the way through to, there you go. As far as the overweight permits, for the collective amount, we have collected 37 million as a whole since conception in 2014 to February of 2022. Next slide. In the year, that should be a 22, not a 21. In this year of 2022, we have issued 4,860 permits. And the lion's share, of course, going to TxDOT on that. That's $826,200 for the year up to now for the 2022 year. Next slide. And you can see we had a slight decrease in comparison to this time last year. And next slide. And as far as the construction market, we all very much aware inflation keeps rising. Next slide. And costs rise right above it, following it steeply inclining upward. So with that concludes my report. Do we have any immediate questions I can entertain at this time?
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Yes, absolutely.
It wasn't, it was impromptu.
All right. Regional Transit Metro.
Good afternoon. I'm Nancy Sanchez with Valley Metro. The regional transit report for the month of January ridership. We have Brownsville Metro. They had 71,305 as a total. They had a 64.7 increase from 2021. The revenue hours were up 16.5%, and the revenue miles were up 19.3%. This is a new fleet that they added. They want to showcase it. The next one, Island Metro, they had 27,627 in ridership for the month of January. That's 33.9% increase from 2021. The hours stayed practically the same, just 0.1% increase. The miles were decreased by 4.8%. The next one, LM Metro had a total ridership of 37,206. There was maybe a decrease of 0.8% in revenue hours, and then the revenue miles stayed practically the same. For Valley Metro, we had 22,233 ridership for the month of January. Next one. We have increased 33.5% from 2021. Revenue hours, there was a decrease. We did have a decrease because of the UTRGV was closed for the winter break. And then we had revenue miles also showed a decrease of 19.5%. Overall, the ridership increased 29%. We have it at the total for 158,000. 371 for 2022, and 2021, we had 117,620. So that concludes our report.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Nancy. All right, item 7, any old business, old or new business?
Yes, sir. I apologize, Judge. I forgot during my update to mention, and I appreciate everybody who attended the Edinburgh open house, but we are having an open house for the Brownsville office, May 21st. Everyone should have received their invites. April 21st, I'm sorry. April 21st, it's going to be at the Young House, is that correct? A beautiful facility, so we're really excited by that, and the city of Brownsville helping us out with this so much, and the Incentive Corporation. So I believe it's going to be from 6 to 8. Is the slated time for that. So please,
Andrew, you can leave at 8, but we're supposed to stay until 9.
Okay. I'm in no hurry to do either. I can sleep in Brownsville. That's fine, sir.
All right.
So yes, if you have not received an RSVP, please contact me or Gloria, who's my assistant, and we'll make sure that you have the information. And there is a poll. Is that a doodle with that or? Oh no, Eventbrite. It comes with an Eventbrite link, just asking you please fill out the information so we have the proper head count for refreshments and food, since the city of Brownsville is picking up the expense of that. So if you do receive it, please come. I assume you will be there.
Hopefully, yep, that's the plan.
So that would be great, and we appreciate everybody coming out to visit our Brownsville house and recognize everything that they're doing out there in Cameron County for us.
All right. If there's nothing else, our next meeting is April the 27th. At 1:30 p.m. Thank you all for joining us today. We stand adjourned.